Hi, this is Naomi with Sword and Steel, and today we are going to be looking at all the miniatures in this Leviathan kit for Warhammer 40,000 10th edition. We're going to be checking out how they look, of course, and how they build, which is pretty straightforward because they're all push fit, pretty good push fit. I'll get into that, and what sort of options, if any, you have when building them. Besides the 72 models worth of sprues in this kit, 73 if you count the transporter beacon, the Leviathan box has the full hardcover rulebook. Don't worry, the rules are only about 60 pages, which I have added a link for in the description because they are available for download right now. And a big whack of cards that will help you remember game rules without having to page through a book. Even a little fold-out sheet with the core rules on it, which I always find useful in game. But let's get to the miniatures themselves. Every one of them is a push-fit model, and just to see how they would fit push-fitted together, I've assembled them without the use of glue. So what you will see here is how the model would look without the aid of plastic glue, no join line removal or anything like that. This model is the Lieutenant in Phobos armor, and like most every model in this box, there is only one way to build him and use every one of his pieces. In most cases, I was happy to find that you could push the model pieces together without any extra effort. The Librarian, the Dreadnought, a couple others, and the 73 odd models they assembled did require having their pegs cut, and by cut I mean cutting a corner off without losing their length, since without glue you need their length to keep the model together in some cases. This Captain in Terminator armor wields a storm bolter and relic weapon and has no other options to field on his sprue, so like a variety of the models in this set, if you wanted to equip them with any of the other options you'll see on their datasheet, you'll have to customize your own with bits from other kits. Customization is a common thing in the building side of Warhammer 40,000, so don't be afraid to try it out yourself with the proper tools, of course. No cutting your fingers. I like this new Infernus squad in game, lots of fun to burn Xenos and such. These were a little less intuitive to put together, but you'll manage by looking at how they are supposed to look when assembled to figure out how the pieces are actually supposed to connect together. There are 10 models in this kit because there are 2 duplicate sprues for 5 guys each. The Sergeant can be built in a couple of different ways, but the other 4 will be identical to their pair, though they look so similar to one another anyway that I don't think it matters at all. Change up how you do the base and voila, they are different. There are 3 models in this Leviathan kit that represent tokens for the abilities of other models, such as this Teleporter Homer for the Terminators. These Terminators were straightforward to put together, and they do have 1 extra unhelmeted head if you'd like to make the Sergeant stand out by baring his face to the environment and the missiles, and I chose not to do that. But if you wanted to give your Captain in Terminator armor model a helmet from this kit of Terminators, then one of the Termies are going to have to take it for the team, since there are only 5 helmets. The Termies are equipped with power fists and storm bolters, except for one wielding the massive assault cannon and the Sergeant wielding a power sword, and there are no chain fists, like is mentioned on their datasheet, so if you want to have those, you may want to get some chain swords from somewhere and glue them to the power fists, and you're done. I am completely serious. That's exactly what a chain fist looks like. Next we have the new Stern Guard Veteran Squad, looking a lot like the new brothers in the Black Templar Crusader Squad, or Blade Guard Veterans without the shields, a much less squat with no more beaky helmets. They do have a fair bit of bling still, and they are wielding different weapons, though for rules, what they're wielding is simply considered a combi weapon, and whether that combi weapon is part plasma gun or part melta-gun doesn't factor in with how you use it. One is wielding this regular Stern Guard bolt rifle still, and another is wielding the Stern Guard heavy bolter, and there are no extra pieces once you've built all of these models. Now this Dreadnought is the simplest Dreadnought I have built in ages, maybe ever. It has only 21 pieces, all of which go together well, maybe a cut or 2 to the various pegs to make sure there's a snug fit, and you can still move and remove the arms if you want to. Now we're at the Tyranids. This is a winged Tyranid Prime. Unsurprisingly, it can lead a unit of warriors as well as gargoyles, and you would want to do so since it adds a bonus to their hits. Be careful cleaning these models. With all the curves, it would be easy to gouge out too much, and that would be awkward on what is supposed to be a living creature. Turn your hobby knife over to scrape with the unsharpened side any little bump of sprue away, or use the mold line remover GW cells if you must, both of which are the easiest way to remove the excess plastic without removing a part of your model by accident. Unlike the Space Marines, the majority of the Tyranids don't have weapon options. They are what they are, and they're all very straightforward to put together, but I added their weapons on the screen anyway. If you had any questions about any of these models, be sure to let me know in the comments below. I will be putting out videos for 10th edition, and I will be painting these miniatures as Dark Angels versus what I think will be a very eye-catching color scheme. So be sure to subscribe to the channel if you'd like to see that in action. This Leviathan box was given to me by Games Workshop, but I'll be acquiring another copy of Leviathan at least to show how the models would look if they had been glued, and I can do any demonstration on the channel if you like, if you make sure to mention it in the comments below, particularly, of course, the patrons and YouTube subscribers, so make certain to put in a request. These barb gaunts look so menacing to me, probably because I don't like hornets, so I doubt I'll particularly enjoy making the ganglioparasite on their backs any more realistic than it already is, but I must admit, little dudes with blast weapons that slow the enemy, that sounds nasty. Sounds worth painting. These Neurogaunts seem to be fodder to defend the Neurotyrant, but the number of them should be able to do a bit of damage and allow the Neurotyrant to get close enough to scream at things anyway. Not sure what is special about the node beast of the Neurogaunts, since they don't seem to have any functional difference, but I haven't read this stratagem, so perhaps there's something there. And these guys are like two pieces to put together. So if you're fairly new, maybe you could start at these because you will get these done so quickly. Next we have the Termagants and Ripper Swarms. The Termagants do have weapon options. This kit only builds the standard weapon called the Flesh Borer, but the datasheet does describe Termagant Spinefists and Termagant Devourers, which you'll find in previous Termagant kits, and which there, I guess, would be an upgrade perhaps to offer those in the future, or maybe when the box of Termagants come out on their own, there might be an additional sprue to give that option. I'm not sure. The Termagants are finally on 28mm bases, not 25mm. So for anyone with a swarm of older Termagants, well, I'm not sure what a good source of 28mm bases would be if you wanted to rebase them. Last I checked, they weren't available, but it's only 3mm. They do stand up steadily on their new base, though. They also look great. I believe they will be a breeze to paint well with all the detailing on them. Oh yes, and you get 20 models, but they're 2 duplicate sprues again, 2 duplicate sprues of 10 Termagants. But the Termagants look so similar to one another that you wouldn't ever really be able to tell that there's duplicates within them. And Ripper Swarms now have 4 little rippers on each base, which, if you aren't already aware, the Parasite of Mortrex, it's a fairly recent Tyranid model, but it's not in this kit. That model summons Ripper Swarms to the battlefield, and they love to hinder your opponent's objective control, so they could be very handy little devils. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. Make certain to like and comment below if you had any questions that I didn't cover in this video. I will be putting out videos, snack size videos of the rules for 10th edition so that you can listen or watch. Should be good either way, so that you can learn the rules over a period of time with nice little missions at the end of each video so that you could do them yourselves. I'm also going to be painting up the Space Marines, as I mentioned, in my Dark Angels scheme that I've created, as well as the Tyranids in the bright Talisar Blue Agaros Dune scheme that I don't believe has been shown on the channel, but it exists. We've had that scheme for a while. So I hope you enjoy those videos coming up, and if you had any other questions or video options that you wanted to see with regards to this new set of Warhammer 40,000, you should comment below. Okay, bye! Thanks to the patrons and YouTube subscribers that support this channel. I really appreciate it, and I hope you have a great weekend, enjoying all of this new stuff coming out. I'm thinking this will be my Dark Angels medal. Just need to fill out the rest of the details.